Welcome to the You Can Man podcast, episode 42. I'm Josh.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Dave.
And on this week's episode, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All right, guys, welcome back to the You Can Man podcast, where we believe what one man can do, you can do as well. This week, we're going to be talking about Christmas because this episode is going to drop. Actually, I think I'm going to try to drop it a little early because normally we drop
early in the morning on Christmas or like a day early?
Well, normally we would drop on Wednesdays.
Which is
That's Christmas. This does need to be a Christmas present to our You Can Man listeners, though.
So I'm thinking...
So they can open it on Christmas morning.
Hopefully when you're hearing this, it will be before Christmas. Let's just say that.
Rock on.
Okay, so I'm going to try to do that. A little bit more laid back episode this time. Just going to be talking some general stuff. Well, not necessarily general. We're going to be talking Christmas stuff.
It's a Christmas themed episode.
It's a Christmas themed episode. We're going to talk about some decoration stuff, some, lighting Christmas trees on fire.
Traditions. Like that.
That sort of thing.
Real tree versus fake tree.
Yeah.
Got to get into that.
So we'll be taking a week off for Christmas. And so you won't hear from us, I guess, the week after Christmas. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So this is really our officially last, I think. Am I?
Yeah, the last one that'll drop in 2019.
The last one that will actually drop in 2019. That's a good way to put it.
What a year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, boys.
Right.
Yeah, so when did we actually launch? It was in March.
I want to say March or April. I can't put my finger on it.
I don't know why I can't remember that, but we had recorded several before we actually launched. But
I was toothless, I'm pretty sure. So that was in probably March.
We should probably post a picture of that for our listeners.
Have we not? Have we not done that?
I don't think so.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the last episode of our Facebook group shout outs. I've already got at least one text today about somebody that listened to it and was like, hey, thanks for the shout out. So,
well, speaking of the Facebook group, I actually need some help from the You Can Man Army because I haven't shaved my face clean since the year 2011. So it's been over 8 years since I've shaved.
Man,
bro, you need to just look at me.
I know. I haven't.
Got you beat, though. I'm like back in the 08.
I had not. Dang. I do not think I had clean shaven since 2006.
All right. So it's been 11 for me.
There are some lazy people around this table.
They're really, well, I've enjoyed it. Like I guess that does make me lazy because I mean, shaving, it's kind of it's a production, right?
But I haven't disciplined people.
I haven't bought razors in forever. And so the market was different back then. Like Dollar Shave Club, I think, was in its infancy.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
None of that stuff was really around. And so I need a new razor. I haven't bought razors in almost a decade. And I need to know what people are using these days. You got Dollar Shave Club, you got Harry's. There's that whole safety razor thing, which I think, I believe that technology has progressed and people are just trying to be cool with those things.
Yeah, it's
I've had the same razor for I don't know how long because I dry them off after and they just last and last.
That's my point. I mean, I have shaved in the interim, but it's been I shaved my cheekbones because look, I'm a hairy dude. All right. My cheekbones grow hair and
you got that werewolf going.
I would look weird. You look weird if you have hairy cheekbones.
Weirder.
So I have to shave those like every other day, but I haven't bought razors in a long, long time.
I was gifted last Christmas and I have yet to use it. A set from Harry's.
Okay.
It's how many different subscription things are there now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they're all kind of doing the same thing. But I remember back in the day, I had my favorite razor. But look, I'm back in the market now. I need to know what you guys are using out there. So let us know.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about. Last episode we talked about me going hiking Kennesaw Mountain. Been doing that every other day,
which
Sundays.
We're going to take
Monday,
part
Wednesday,
in that.
Friday. So for those of you who are not in the Atlanta area, Kennesaw Mountain is a
national battlefield.
It's a national battlefield park where a major Civil War battle took place. And I think it's probably the best green space in all of Metro Atlanta.
Agree.
No?
It's probably true.
So I've been going there early in the morning, mostly, and hiking. And
it's been cold for Georgia recently.
Yeah.
Like anybody from Milwaukee would be like, it is not cold.
Freezing's freezing no matter where you are.
It's been sub-freezing by a little bit a couple mornings.
Man, do you have, Tim, excuse me, You are you outfitted for that type of?
Not really.
I mean, what do you? I don't see you wearing a whole lot of like cold weather athletic gear.
No, I'm just curious. This morning when it was super cold, I wore long john pants. These jogging.
You're like an 85-year-old man.
Yes, these jogging pants from Costco.
Yeah, he's 77.
I think we need to get him a Christmas present.
Yep.
A long sleeve T-shirt that one of my photography clients gave me, a fleece zip up that I got for I think $10, and a jacket that Josh's wife gave me because Josh didn't want it.
You just described my dad in the 80s when he'd go for a run.
I mean, I'm doing just fine with it.
If it works, man, it works.
So the jacket that Josh's wife gave me, well, I guess y'all both gave it to me. I don't know. Just somebody give that to you and you didn't want it?
It was like a little snug on me, so I preferred not to have it because it was given to us.
Okay,
so
well, now that I've lost like 33 pounds, it fits me just fine.
It fits middle school Tim perfectly.
Yeah, and so I've been wearing that, and it's been fine. I think I talked about how I'll hike up the mountain so early in the morning, and it's just completely dark.
You got a headlamp on, right?
Well, I did one time, but then I'll get up to I won't see a soul going all the way up the mountain, and then I get up to the top, and then there's somebody up there. Like, when did you start?
I think they're living up there, man. That's the only explanation.
I don't know. Look, if you're in the Atlanta area and you haven't been to Kennesaw Mountain, and you especially haven't been way early in the morning, you should do it because you can get up there, nobody's there, and you can see the city lights of Atlanta from the very top.
And you might run into Tim.
Yeah. If you're there Monday, Wednesday, or Friday at like 6:30 a.m., you might see me.
Yeah. So I think Dave and I are
We're going to partake.
The break, we're going to do that with you.
Maybe we should do some sort of
a
a little
meetup
outing or something.
We'll do like
idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man Army. Let us know.
Yeah, if you guys want in on that.
I was thinking about a meetup the other day, like just at a restaurant, but I think a little hike could be cool
I think we
too.
should meet at the highest point in the local area. That just makes sense.
Yeah, maybe we just all meet up at the top.
At the summit of Kennesaw.
Yeah.
Be like, if you can't hang, just drive up and meet us there.
So I know we mentioned last week that Dave and myself and my brother completed our monthly race schedule.
That's the only New Year's. It wasn't really a New Year's resolution for me because I don't make those. But
it was the closest.
It's the only. Yeah, it's the only one I've ever done all the way through.
That was probably one of the longest term goals I've set in quite a while.
Yeah.
And you ended yours off with a half marathon.
Yeah, Josh always has to be the hero, and so it was a week after our last our 10K in December. You ran a half marathon.
Yeah, I went to Rome, Georgia. I posted an Instagram post about it if you haven't seen that, because I partook in the Warren Buffet.
Yes.
As a celebration on my way home. I hit up the McDonald's.
Can I just say that, ourselves 2 years ago, listening to us now would be like, who are you?
That is true.
Who are you?
Yeah, none of us have the same lifestyle physically at all that we did 2 years ago.
That's for sure. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell us about the half marathon.
I did the half. I think I mentioned it on the show back in August. I ran a half marathon. That was my first one ever. It was a colossal. I jogged most of the time.
Well, it was through the surface of the sun, wasn't it?
It was in August, which that's questionable. And then it was also at 7 p.m., which in Atlanta, it's still 93 degrees at 7 p.m., which it was that day. It was down by our local river, the Chattahoochee, that runs through our whole state and into the Alabama-Georgia border and all the way down into Florida. It's a big river. So it was quite humid. I didn't prep well. I didn't follow the rules of taking it easy on the front end. And it was an unmitigated disaster. It was an embarrassing finishing time. So since then, I was like, okay, I'm resolving to do this again the right way. And so this time I followed my plan, which I think most half marathoners are like, you do 1 to 3 miles at an easy pace, like 20 seconds below your normal pace, and just
warm up,
get your body moving, get into a groove, and then lock into your pace time of whatever your target goal is. And mine was a sub 2 hour. I wanted to do a sub 2 hour half marathon, which is a 9 minute and 9 second mile. And I was feeling good. And at mile 11, I kind of kicked it into an extra gear because I could, I paid attention to my body this time. And so my last 2 miles were my fastest miles. And I finished with like an 8:56 pace and finished at an hour 57 minutes.
Man, you crushed it. You sent that screenshot and I was like, oh, kind of deflated me a little bit. I was like,
did you
dude,
feel like you could keep going at the end?
Yes,
of it?
like if I hadn't kicked it up the last 2 miles, I could have easily run an additional 3 miles on top of that. Yeah,
slow clap.
because it was that. Look, go in with a plan and stick to it. It's amazing what that can do for any part of your life. Is go with a plan and stick to it.
There you go.
Yeah, so that was fun. That was really fun to hit a goal like that. It was pretty ambitious. That's the fastest I've ever run that distance. So pretty rewarding.
I haven't done a half marathon. I can say that.
Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment. If I can get my knee situation figured out, I think I might be able to do it.
Yeah. But keep in mind, you like to move fast, but I literally started running like a year and 8 months ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
that's
you
true.
got to take it slow at our age.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't, if you're wrapping your knees in with like t-shirts, I would think you would be doing based on your workout gear.
He's got an ace bandage.
You got to step it up.
I do have a knee brace thing that I borrowed from my mom.
There you go. There you go.
No joke. I do have one. I hadn't really worn it a whole lot.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk. Christmas coming up, guys. I mean,
Are we ready?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about real tree versus fake because I got a fake tree. I don't even dismantle the thing. I don't even take it apart.
Oh, that's the dream.
I picked the whole thing up.
Where do you put it?
In the basement, storage room, man. I just take the whole thing. We take the ornaments off, but we leave the lights on.
So you don't have to fluff it every year.
Well, you still kind of do because
Gotta touch it up.
Yeah,
because kind of going up and down the stairs with it. There's some tight.
Yeah, you get like a
corners.
flat spot and
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I do.
How long have y'all been fake tree?
As
Like day one?
forever. Yeah. Well, I don't think we've ever had.
What
a
about
real
growing
tree.
up? What about growing up?
No, we always had a
Really?
fake one because
really.
Allergies and stuff.
Did you have
My
the fake tree smell? I had a friend who had the fake tree smell
no.
for the fake tree to make it smell real.
That's
no.
really weird.
It is weird.
No, never heard of that. You guys,
It's a thing.
You guys do fake trees, no?
Well, so we've been real tree, except for recently we bought a fake tree for the basement because, we're ultra rich. And we have a real tree. We're not. We have a real tree or a fake tree in the basement. I think last year was our first year with it. It's LED lit, pre-lit LED. It comes apart in 3 pieces that umbrellas into itself. So it's a really easy setup. And we use a real tree upstairs. The one upstairs is only like a 6-foot tree. So I don't have to like curse when I'm trying to get it into its stand and maneuver it up the stairs.
I've always wondered, do they start discounting the price of Christmas trees that are live, the real Christmas trees that are Christmas trees lots? Do they start discounting the price as it gets closer to Christmas? Because
I don't know that.
It always kind of gives me the weird feeling when there's all these Christmas trees still there. And then I'm like, are people still buying these?
It's like 4 days out.
Yeah. I'm like, what is the point?
I would think they would.
I think
because
I
what's
think
the alternative?
I think the price goes up because they have less people coming in to buy. That defies the law of supply.
I mean,
and demand.
what are they going to do with them? They're
Right,
just going to
that's what I'm
chop them
saying.
up
Yeah.
as
They
mulch.
But the
gotta
people
wood
that are coming, like they're coming to buy a tree, so they're going to buy it. I mean, they're like
But
they've
who
already
does that?
I
That's
don't
what I
know,
mean.
Like 2 days before,
We need to
kind of weird.
ask.
Maybe
We'll
that's
ask.
is that a thing? Like, do people wait until 4 days before Christmas and they're like,
I think that is I think it
now's
is a
the
thing.
time to go get our tree that
Yeah.
we're going to look at for 4 days.
Well, when I was a kid, it wasn't 4 days, but it was probably the soonest we would get it. Am I saying that right? Is probably 2 weeks out. I don't know what.
Really?
Yeah, like that. It was
too late.
They
It's
waited.
too late.
My parents waited a
if
long
you're going to
time.
go through the hassle, that thing needs to be up minimum 3 weeks.
I put ours.
I could be wrong about that, but it felt like, I don't know. Maybe when I was a kid, I was probably like right after Thanksgiving. I was like, I want a tree, but it was not happening then.
I put ours up right before Thanksgiving. I think this year.
Yeah, I like to use Thanksgiving as the milestone. Like anytime after that, We can start
it's
Christmas.
appropriate. It's appropriate
Now,
after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving was later this year. Is that correct? At least by what, 4 days or something like
Yes,
that?
this year is the closest that Thanksgiving and Christmas can possibly be mathematically.
Wow.
Okay.
And it is the furthest that Halloween and Thanksgiving are. So like those coincide with each other.
Okay.
It's the farthest
Didn't think
apart
about
those
that.
could be. Okay.
Because last year, Halloween and Thanksgiving were the closest they could possibly
So this
be.
is a shortened Christmas season.
Correct. It is.
Okay.
Absolutely is.
Okay.
Interesting.
Let's talk about our Christmas tree burning because I think we've mentioned it before.
Well, the Christmas tree burn is actually the primary reason that I do a fake tree now. I kind of miss the real tree days. I didn't think I'd miss them, the hassle of going to get it and buying, a $60 tree every year and all that. I do kind of miss the real tree, but I do a fake tree because I have seen Christmas trees burn and it's like lighting a can of gasoline on
We
fire.
mentioned that in our fire drill.
It is a fire hazard for sure.
So let's explain this to our listeners, especially those who are just joining the You Can Man podcast. We have been doing a tradition for I think we've been doing it for like 15
Yeah,
years.
1998 might be the 1997.
Yeah, I think we had some
might have been the
gaps
first
in,
year.
in there maybe early on, but
Okay.
it's been going on for quite some time. So after Christmas, a couple weeks after Christmas, we will go camping and we will all bring Christmas trees to the campsite and we'll put them all together and we'll set them ablaze.
It's kind of an unspoken rule that you have to bring. You got to bring a tree for admission.
Right.
That's your ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get
You'll get shamed.
Yeah, you'll get shamed if you don't bring that. So our record I think it still stands. The record is 76 trees
Yes.
all at once.
It was in the mid 70s.
However, I will say that we've had better fires than that 76.
It was not that it was. I think it was too big. We didn't set it up properly, and I think we just bit off more than we could chew that year.
There's a lot
There's
that
a lot
goes.
of variables.
Yeah, there really is. So we've learned that we've got to bring post hole diggers because we got to dig some holes to get those foundational Christmas trees in the ground. And it's funny because we always talk about engineering this, Dave. Hint, hint.
Yep.
Okay. Look,
I hear
figure
you.
this out, and we never really do. But I will say that the best fire that we had was the year that we used. I think it was the year that we used Roman candles to light
I agree.
it.
I'll agree with that.
And we basically set up 4 or 5 people all the way around in a circle with Roman candles. They lit those things, and then it was able to light evenly all around.
We also
the
need to
fire.
mention that that year is when I used just pure gasoline
Yes.
to coat the trees instead of I usually use like a diesel or oil gas mix so
Right.
that it won't go up so dangerously.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
that never works.
Gasoline goes up really
Yeah.
quickly, but you're right. I think gasoline, if you're pouring it on the trees and you're 30 feet back with a Roman candle, well, I mean, what could go wrong?
Well, and then we've also done, if we don't do the Roman candles, we'll do gas trails.
Yes.
Right. So we douse it with gas. And interestingly enough, I was on Google Maps looking at our campsite. And the last set of images that Google has, I kid you not,
Was it scorched earth?
you can make out the gas trails.
That's awesome.
I'll have to show you guys.
It's amazing.
I think you've sent it to us. That feels familiar.
Yeah, it's like a little what do you call that Easter egg thing in the Google Images, because you'll see the gas trails and you see my brother on his tractor on the next plot of land,
Grading the
over.
land.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was weird. So, anyways, but so great fun having that. We've continued on as a tradition doing that. And I hope it continues because it's kind of been waning a little bit in past years because as we get older, we get more responsibilities and guys
harder
are
to get
like,
away.
I just can't make
It's
it
more
happen
reason you
this
got to do
year.
it, though.
Yeah. And I think, I think at some point we need to do some sort of You Can Man camp out or something.
I think there'd be
that'd
a lot of
cool.
guys up for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
So
right.
hit us up on the Facebook group and let us know if you want to do that.
Let me mention one more thing about Christmas trees before we move on. So you were talking about the price of Christmas trees as we get closer to Christmas. Well, I don't know if you heard, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners have heard, because apparently it was like national news. But this year there was a shortage of Christmas trees.
I think I heard about this.
Because 10 years ago during the recession, the farmers of these Christmas tree farms were hit by the recession. They planted fewer trees, and then there was multiple years of hard drought where these trees were grown. And so now 10 years later, we're reaping
paying
the
for it?
consequences of
Wow.
that. And it's no lie. We have a Pike nursery right down the street, and that's where my wife and I always get our tree. And we go in, and it's just, you go to the back, and it's wall-to-wall trees on the inside. I'm not even exaggerating, and we went early. We went in a normal time, like a week after Thanksgiving. There was literally a fifth as many trees as there normally are. It was like this one little aisle of trees instead of like 5 aisles of trees, and the prices were more expensive. And we asked the lady, we're like, what's going on? This place is usually packed out. She's like, oh, you didn't hear? I mean, she's in the Pike nursery industry. Yeah. She's like, you didn't hear? Oh my gosh. Yeah, the recession. And she told us all about it. Very interesting. I did not.
I'm confused. Are Christmas trees 10 years old, or is
that's
supply
about the time
line?
they cut?
Well, maybe maybe the market.
Okay.
Maybe
what
the
they
market
cut.
needed a correction, because there's
Capitalism
still
works.
I'm driving by these Christmas tree lots, and look, we're a week out at the time of this recording from Christmas, and there's still Christmas trees there.
Yeah. So I guess there wasn't an undersupply, but it
Yeah.
was just fewer than normal.
Right.
I guess.
Very interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. So let's talk about another Christmas topic, which is Christmas movies.
Whoa.
We talked about Christmas movies?
I don't
yet?
think we have.
All right. Do you guys have go-to movies? I feel like
Yes.
everyone has a couple, but I want to know what your guys are.
Elf.
Elf. That's
Yeah.
It's a
You got to
quality.
watch Elf. I say that, and I don't think I've watched it this season, but you got to watch Elf.
Make it happen.
If you have kids, yeah, you got to watch Elf. I'd say my go-to is Christmas Vacation for sure. That's a staple.
That's my number one, but also I think it's tied actually with Home Alone.
Okay, you watch Home Alone like every year?
Home Alone, we just watched it last night.
I don't think I've seen Home Alone in a long time.
Oh, it's so
been a minute.
good. It's so good. Such a good movie. Have it memorized. That way I can mute the TV because there's like 4 curse words in it. Not curses, but things you don't want your 3-year-old
Yeah.
saying. But I have it memorized so I can mute it.
Yeah, you can hit
like
it.
a ninja. Same with Christmas Vacation.
You didn't feel weird about, because I don't think we let all of our kids watch it. I think my oldest has watched it, but the whole like the crooks breaking in and stuff like that and the weirdness. No, you didn't feel any of that?
No. I mean,
Hey
they're not
man,
trying-
Kevin takes care.
Yeah,
of
there
it,
was
all right?
no like creepiness, and I mean, it was like, and it was pseudo violence, but all on the side of like against the robbers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Harry's
so-
stepping on a nail and he's catching the, he's getting the iron.
The worst prank is when Marv comes in through the window and steps on all the ornaments
That's bad.
and his bare feet.
That's bad.
And the light bulbs. He pops. I don't know who the
Oh, and
stuntman was
like
for
they
that.
zoom in on it,
Oh,
right?
yeah. He's popping light bulbs and glass ornaments under his bare feet.
How about
It's
that scream? How about Harry's scream?
the best
It's-
scream in cinematic
I
history.
completely agree. When he puts the tarantula on his face, that
On his
scream,
chest. Yeah. You're right.
that
On
scream
his
is
face.
amazing.
Yep. So we've also got Polar Express. I don't love it as much, but my kids.
I don't do that
think
one.
I've ever watched it.
All 3 Grinches, the original animated.
I do not like the Grinch stuff.
I don't dig the Grinch either.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the original Grinch.
Nah, it makes me feel weird.
The Jim Carrey Grinch is pretty good. And the newest cartoon Grinch, which I hated that they made because do we need another Grinch? But it's actually good and
That's
funny.
So my son was watching that the other day, and that one is pretty good. I'll give you that.
And it's kind of funny, yeah.
I like the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yep, those are
You know,
good.
I've always loved
My
that
son loves that.
because it brings in the actual Christmas story.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
because none of this other
The whole
crap
meaning of
does.
Christmas. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. So I think that I've always like treasured that because of that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
because
it is. It's really, if you haven't seen Charlie Brown, I know like maybe you saw it when you were a kid and thought it was boring, but like as an adult, it really is a great message. Cause like there's even Charlie Brown goes through this like depression of like he sees everyone, like he sees Snoopy like decorating his doghouse, and like Charlie Brown's like, is this really what this is all about? And then he gets to, they get to the play and really talk about the meaning of Christmas, and everyone gets on board. It's a really, really good message.
Man, I don't know about that, but I have
you don't know if it's a good message.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good message. I have kind
Christmas Vacation that has no.
Well, I'll say this: I have kind of a weird Christmas tradition that my wife started. She bought me. This was several years ago. She bought me Goodfellas for Christmas. I love the movie Goodfellas.
That is a great movie.
It's a great movie, and we started a tradition where we watch it on Christmas night. Right. Okay. So she gave it to me for Christmas. We watched it that night, and I was like, hey, we're doing this every year. I actually think she said that she was over it though after year one.
Okay.
But now every year I'm like, this is happening. And so maybe not a good message in that movie, but it's become a tradition nonetheless.
Crime doesn't pay.
Crime doesn't. Yeah. In the end, crime doesn't pay. But yeah, good movie.
All right, guys, we actually got to take a quick weird break right now.
A disclaimer
before Tim, start talking about Santa Claus.
So yes, for parents in the cars, we're about to talk about Santa Claus.
Yes.
Just a heads up.
So you may want to stop the podcast now and then start it again later.
When your kids aren't around.
Exactly.
All right.
And go.
It's a great movie. Any other Christmas tradition things?
Well, I was going to open up a whole other can, but we can just do that in the future about the whole doing Santa or not with your kids, because
that's dangerous.
Look, man, we don't do Santa. It's like Santa.
Because you guys don't believe in happiness and joy.
No, Santa is.
I agree with your take, and we basically do the same thing.
Yeah, Santa is essentially Spider-Man in my home. I mean,
he's like a superhero.
We still like, yeah, Santa, cool, whatever. He ain't real. Jesus is the reason for this season.
So Josh and I used to have arguments about this when we were younger and probably more energetic about things in general. But yeah, Josh wanted to buy a T-shirt that said Santa isn't real and wear it.
I wanted to make it. Yeah. It didn't exist.
It did exist. There was a website that had it, I thought.
Really?
Yeah, it said Santa isn't real. And I'm like, why would you wear that? He's like, because he's not real. And I'm like, yeah, but anyway, we got into it.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that topic.
There are certainly some strong feelings about it around this table.
There are. But I mean, I don't think anyone's like vehemently against what anybody else did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna shame somebody, but as for me and my house, we will.
Yeah,
we're just not gonna.
Well, there was this news story recently about this teacher that they fired, or she had to resign or something because she told I can't remember what grade it was. It was like first or second grade. She just flat out told the whole class like Santa Claus. And look, if you have kids in the car, please mute.
Probably should have said that.
But go ahead. Anyway, that Santa Claus isn't real. Like she said that to a whole group of kids. And
how old were these kids?
It's like first or second
she
grade.
She got fired?
It was fired or resigned or had suspended or something extreme that the administration.
What have we come to?
That's what I'm saying.
Some people's lives are built around Santa.
But listen to this.
That's really sad, Dave.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Someone on Facebook posted that article and was like, yeah, what are we what is this that we have to punish this teacher for this? And then people on there on that post were commenting like, how dare this teacher say that? It is a fact.
I will give them,
shouldn't have done that. But what she said was factually correct.
Right. Well, that's been your argument since day one. Is anybody going to argue with me about this?
That teacher was taking what should normally be a parental judgment call upon herself.
Sure. Right.
And so for that, I do fault her.
Now, to be punished, I thought the punishment she received was way, way too much. I can understand parents being upset, but she was reprimanded by the administration, which I think just a simple apology or the administration being like, let's not do that anymore.
Look, Santa steals from the glory of Jesus. That's all I'm going to say. We'll talk about that again in the future.
I think we just talked about it.
I think we did.
I mean, look, I like the superhero thing. I think that's a good balance.
Yeah, because they still get to enjoy it. Yeah. It's
and then you don't have to break their spirit in third or fourth grade.
Because then you can still draw from the good things about it. He brings good gifts. He's You know,
And
like
St. Nicholas was a real person.
yeah, you
So-
can talk about that. I
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I got some strong feelings on that. But anyways, any other Christmas stuff, guys? Because
We go, I mean, I was just going to mention this tradition that's not really a tradition. It's kind of something that I stole from my parents, which I guess makes it a tradition. We went a few weeks ago. We went to the local Krispy Kreme, and we, in our new minivan, new to us, minivan, and we had Krispy Kreme donuts, and then we went right down the street to Life University, which is a nationally recognized chiropractic university.
oh man, that's been our
And-
tradition too.
Yeah, and we drive through what's called the Lights of Life. It's at Life University. And they have a nice big Christmas display, and we drive through it at night and have Krispy Kreme donuts, and it's fun. And we did that when I was a kid, and it was awesome.
What a nice little tradition.
Yeah.
That's
Apparently
great.
there's better light displays around here, I've heard.
Yeah, there's one really great one that I'll tell you about after the podcast.
Up at Kennesaw?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
heard about it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I've got the segment this week, guys, and it is Christmas related. So stick around and check that out.
This episode is sponsored by 1776 United. 1776 United is a patriotic and historically inspired lifestyle brand. They make the best patriotic shirts and apparel on the market today. I personally own many of their products, and if you want to don patriotic gear without looking gaudy, check them out on Instagram, Facebook, and at 1776united.com. All right, guys, welcome back. We've got Tim with the segment this week.
All right. This is Christmas related. It's going to be pretty short.
Word.
I got a question to start off with it. Okay. You guys tell me, what is the red leaf plant that everybody has around Christmas time? What is that plant called?
A poinsettia.
Josh, what is that plant
I
called?
would say it the exact same way that Dave said.
Poinsettia.
Yeah.
Okay, now there is debate on this. Okay,
Obviously.
now I looked into it because normally I think that I would have called it poinsettia as well, but the more correct way is apparently poinsettia.
According to who?
I don't. Merriam-Webster
First of all,
dictionary.
how do we spell this word?
Okay, it is spelled Poinsettia.
Then I'm fine with poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
Okay, now Merriam-Webster.
I couldn't have spelled that if you put a gun to my head.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't think I could have either, but they put it in. I'm actually going to try to play these pronunciations, but they have two different ones, and they call the first one is poinsettia, and then they call it a non-standard pronunciation is poinsettia.
Okay.
Interesting.
So this is it.
Poinsettia.
Let me do that again.
Play it again.
Poinsettia.
Okay, so that's the normal one,
Okay.
right? Everybody hear that? One more time.
Poinsettia.
All right, and then the non-standard.
Poinsettia. Poinsettia.
So I don't know. I guess both are.
See, now now I'm going to be second guessing myself for the rest of the Christmas holiday season. And
Does it make you sound like you're a know-it-all if you say
I don't
poinsettia?
think so.
No.
No, it makes you sound stupid.
No,
I think.
no.
Really?
It's one of those words. Look, I'm all
It's
into
like caramel.
I'm all into pronunciations and like doing it correctly, but it's one of those words that's like it's either or. It's 50-50. I don't care how you say it. There's no judgment there. Now there's other words like supposedly and things like that, or like
Where there's clearly a correct way to.
Pacific instead of specific,
Right.
or just insane things like that. But this is one of those words that
For all
goes either
for
way,
all
and I don't
intensive
care.
purposes.
And all intensive purposes.
Yeah,
those-
it's not that, but
I'm
apparently
good. I'm good either way.
Okay, yeah, but the more correct way I think is
I
poinsettia.
may change my word then.
So
Guys,
this was
let us
Merriam.
know.
I'll trust Merriam-Webster. Is it
Well-
really a poisonous plant?
Okay, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. Oh,
I just recently went to Pike Nursery and learned about that.
Really?
Okay.
Okay, because I've always heard that.
All right, so I've just got a very, very brief little history here of the poinsettia plant.
Poinsettia.
Well,
There you
you
go,
know,
Dave.
whatever you want to do, Dave. Now, have I changed your mind? You gonna
I think
say
you
it
have.
like that now?
I think you
Okay.
have changed it.
Lock it in.
All right. The name that we get, the English name, was derived from Joel Roberts Poinsett. Okay, actual dude. He was the first United States minister to Mexico, and he is the one credited to bringing the plant to the U.S. in the 1820s.
So the plant's named after an American.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's actually native to Central America.
Okay.
All right. Its association with Christmas, and now this is not actual fact or anything like that. This is a tale that it began in the 16th century in Mexico, and I'm getting this from Wikipedia, but I feel like
Wikipedia is fine.
Yeah, I feel like something like this has got to be well vetted because a bunch of people have got to be weighing in on this. So
Well, everyone can say it's wrong if it is.
right, and again, this is a tale, so just saying this. But it was apparently a legend tells of a girl commonly called Pepita or Maria, who was too poor to provide a gift for the celebration of Jesus' birthday and was inspired by an angel to gather weeds from the roadside and place them in front of the church altar. Crimson blossoms sprouted from the weeds and became poinsettias. From the 17th century Franciscan friars in Mexico, they included the plants in their Christmas celebrations. The star-shaped leaf pattern is said to symbolize the Star of Bethlehem, and the red color represents the blood sacrifice of Jesus' crucifixion.
I can be into that.
Okay, so that's apparently where it first became like that. But then this John Roberts Poinsett brought the plant back from Mexico
And said, I'm naming this.
He had a greenhouse greenhouses, I don't know, in South Carolina. And then I also read that he started giving these as gifts around Christmas time to his friends. And it just became adopted as something that was commonplace during Christmas.
All right.
All right.
In the 1820s, you said?
1820s is when he first brought them. I think
Okay.
it wasn't until later. And then actually a good bit later when it started commercially being produced. And that was in a farm in California, I believe, which actually still apparently produces like 70% of the
Interesting.
world's poinsettia.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
something like that.
poinsettias.
Or poinsettias. So you talked about toxicity earlier.
I asked about it because
Okay.
I've always heard that it's a
Okay.
poisonous plant.
It is not poisonous.
Makes sense because with the world that we live in today and all the warning labels and everything is
Insanity.
Yeah, all the points are rounded off.
Okay. It is thought that it could maybe cause nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. Okay. But
So you need
That sounds
Pepto-Bismol.
poisonous.
there's probably a lot of other plants
Yes.
that are
That's
not.
what I was thinking. If you eat almost any plant that's not supposed to be eaten,
yeah.
you'll
gonna
probably
get
get a
sick.
little sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Tum-tum.
And so the misconception that it was poisonous was spread by an urban legend way back in 1919 of a 2-year-old child dying after consuming a poinsettia leaf.
That's exactly what I read at Pike Nursery. They have a sign
Yeah?
up next to the poinsettias that says that exact thing. Poinsettias are not poisonous, and this was a myth started in 19.
And just to prove this point, there was a study conducted, and they basically fed a ton of this to rats. It was equivalent to consuming 500 leaves
Whoa.
or nearly 2.2 pounds of the sap of the leaves.
Sorry, rats.
And they were fine. I mean, I don't know. They probably had some really bad bowels, something going on.
Probably.
But they didn't die, so clearly it's not poisonous. So
Yeah.
correct all your friends and let them know that it's
and
not.
bring those into your house.
If you want to make a point,
They're
just
beautiful.
grab a leaf and chow down.
Did you read anything about the seasonality of those things? Because I thought there was something at Pike. Sorry if I'm going down a rabbit hole here. That where they don't normally like bloom around this time, like in nature.
It has everything to do. I was reading with the amount of sunlight that they get, because it has to have a certain amount of sunlight in order for it to produce the red color, because it's not red all year long. It just turns that.
Yeah.
So they must breed them in such a
In the
way,
greenhouse.
something like that, to produce that brilliant red color, because it has to have a certain amount of sunlight to do that.
Yeah. I think what I read is, I guess that like out in nature in the winter, they probably wouldn't be red. Is kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Red.
I'm
So,
not
anyway.
quite sure about that.
Any of our
But hey,
botanist listeners, let us know.
yeah, so that's just a very, very brief history on the poinsettia plant, which is very common around Christmas time. So now you guys know that it's not toxic, and it basically came from Mexico back in the
how to say it-
1820s.
and how to say it right.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean,
Either way.
Hey, guys, pick your poison.
Hey.
Poison. Whoa.
Nice.
All right. Hey, guys, that's going to wrap up 2019 for the You Can Man podcast.
Well
all
done.
right?
Well done, gentlemen. It's
Yeah,
been an
we
honor.
will be back. We've got some really great guests lined up, hopefully, that will come through for us.
Yeah.
That we're going to have on coming shortly in the new year. So we are looking forward to that. We will see you guys after the new year. Thanks so much for tuning in.